we are starting on miscellaneous analysis on Surds and rationalization. At this time, we are going to devote our attention or to devote the time for questions, solution of questions. This is all what we are going to do on Surds and rationalization. Good. But before we move on, there are some trigonometric ratios that I would like to let you become aware of in case you are not aware of that kind of trigger ratios. For instance, here's a triangle. Here's a triangle, right angle triangle. Right angle triangle. And here's 1. And here's root 3. And here is 2. And here is, let's say 60 degrees. And here is 30 degrees. 30 degrees. Good. Good. And if you want cosine of 60, which is cos 60, cos 60 is the same as cos pi by 3. Cos 60 is equals to 1 over 2. If you want sine 60, okay, cos 60 is adjacent over the hypotenuse, and the adjacent is 1, and the hypotenuse is 2. That's why we say that cos 60 or cos pi by 3 is equals to 1 over 2. In that same vein, if we want sine 60, which is the same as sine pi by 3, sine is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. In that case, sine 60 is equals to opposite over hypotenuse, which is root 3 over 2. Good. Then we come back and we see that tan 60, which is tan 60, or we say tan pi by 3, tan is equals to opposite over the adjacent. So opposite is root 3 and the adjacent is 1. So tan 60 is equals to root 3 over 1, which is the same as root 3. These are very important identities that you have to, you should know them by your fingertips. Because in the A levels or in advanced level mathematics, such angles, such trigonometric angles, they frequently, appear in calculations. So it is better that you know these angles by heart. Okay. If you watch here, we say that tan 60 is equals to root 3. There's a way we can also find tan 60. Tan 60 is equals to sine 60 over cos 60. Sine 60 is root 3 over 2 over cos 60 is half, which is equals to root 3 over 2 times 2 over 1. If this one cancels this one, you can say that tan 60 or tan pi by 3 is equals to root 3. That is also another way. And take it this way as well. Okay. I'm not going to stand your way so that you can see the board clearly. Cos 60 is equals to half. Sine 60 is equals to root 3 over 2. Tan 60 or tan pi by 3 is equals to root 3. If I may repeat it again, cos 60 or cos pi by 3 is equals to half. Sin 60 or sin pi by 3 is equals to root 3 over 2. Tan 60 or tan pi by 3 is equals to root 3. On the other hand, in trigonometry, both sine and theta, both cos and sine, they are complementary. So, if you can do it this way as well, cos 60 was equals to half. Therefore, cos 30, because cosine angle and sine angle, they are both complementary to each other. So cos 30 is identical to sine 60. And what is sine 60? Sine 60 is equals to root 3 over 2. Therefore, cos 30 or cos pi by 6 is equals to root 3 over 2. Okay. Then, you come back here again. Sine 30 being a complement to cos 60 is equals to half. Therefore, sine 30, which is equals to sine pi by 6, is equals to half. Let me call this one alpha, and let me call this one beta. In general, in trigonometry, we say that sine theta, tan theta is equals to sine theta over cos theta. In that case, tan 30 degrees or tan pi by 6 is equals to sine tan 30 is equals to sine 30 over cos 30. But what is sine 30? Sine 30 is equals to half. And what is cos 30? Cos 30 is equals to root 3 over 2. Which implies this. 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 2 over root 3. This one cancels this one out. Therefore, tan 30, which is the same as tan pi by 6 is equals to 1 over root 3. These are very important trig ratios that you should, have them on your fingertips. So, the first one is this one. The second one is this one. And the third one, tan 60 equals to tan pi by 3. This is the third one. Good. And this is, I'll call this one gamma. So, this one, which is 1, and this one, which is 2, and this one, which is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equations. You have to know them. They should be on your fingertips. For instance, it is something that it is not always in some calculations you can memorize. You can. It is not all calculations. In some cases, that you have enough time to draw this triangle and then derive all these things. You can memorize it. For instance, cos 60 is equals to 1 over 2. If cos 60 is 1 over 2, then sine 60, cos 60 is 1 over 2, then sine 60 is root 3 over 2. Then tan 60 is equals to root 3. Then you turn it opposite. Cos 60 is the same as sine 30. So when cos 60 was equals to half, then being complement to sine angle, it implies is cos 30 is the same as sine 60. But sine 60 was equals to root 3 over 2. Therefore, cos 30 is equals to root 3 over 2. If you know it this way, you memorize them. Honestly, in many A-level calculations, as far as the time propensity becomes concerned, at some point you may not even have the time to draw this triangle and then derive everything. Therefore, it is you are advised to know these trig ratios, to memorize them. They are worthy of memorizing. Well, then at this time, before we continue on our analysis on surds and rationalization, I would like you to take the time to copy all these things. And remember that it is a video tutorial, in which case, as I leave the space to you like this, it's an opportunity for you to pause the video to see everything clearly on the board and to copy them. So take your time, copy as we prepare for further analysis on the work. So far, we have considered the angles 60, we have considered the angle size of 60 and 30 degrees, which are pi by 3 and pi by 6 respectively. What we didn't consider was the angle 45 or pi by 4. Okay, you still have the same right angle triangle that looks like this. Let me draw it properly. And this is equals to 45 degrees. And this is equals to 45 degrees. And here is 1 and here is 1. Remember, 45 degrees is equals to pi by 4. Okay. Using the Pythagoras theorem, we can find the length, the size of this length, using the Pythagoras theorem. The hypotenuse being this side, h is equals to 1 square plus 1 square in the root, which is equals to root 2. This side is equals to root 2. Okay, if you have this one, you can see that cos 45 degrees is equals to the adjacent over the hypotenuse is equals to cos 45 degrees is the same as cos pi by 4, which is equals to 1 over root 2. In that same vein, sine 45 degrees or sine pi by 4 is equals to 1 over root 2. Okay, and you can see that tan 45 degrees is equals to tan pi by 4 is equals to opposite over the adjacent, which is 1 over 1, which implies is tan 45 is equals to 1. This one, I'll call it equation alpha, and this one call it equation beta. And this one, I will call it equation gamma. From the results of equation alpha and beta being cos 45 degrees equals to 1 over 2, 1 over root 2, and sin 45 degrees is equals to 1 over root 2, it indicates that cos 45 degrees is much the same as sin 45 degrees equals to 1 over root 2. Very good. And equation gamma can also be derived as tan 45 degrees is equals to sine 45 degrees over cos 45 degrees. But sine 45 degrees is equals to 1 over root 2 over cos 45 degrees is equals to 1 over root 2. They both cancel out and you have close to 1. Therefore, tan 45 is equals to 1. So these identities or trigonometric results, you have to memorize them. They are very, very useful in advanced level calculations. Take your time to copy everything that you see on the board. After having done this, there are some typical exam questions that we are going to tackle. So take your time and copy everything. Now, let's take a typical exam question. It says that express in said form and rationalize the denominators. This is the question. Express in third form and rationalize the denominator. And the question is given us 1 over 1 plus cos 45. Remember, cos 45 degrees is not different from 1 over root 2. In which case, this one that you see here is equals to 1 over 1 plus cos 45 is equals to 1 over root 2. Then you cross multiply this one to this. Then you have root 2 you have the numerator is equals to 1 over the denominator. You cross multiply this to this, so you have root 2 plus 1 all over root 2 over 2 all over root 2 which is not different from because it is a reciprocal, you can, algebraically, you can turn it upside down. So it becomes root 2 over root 2 plus 1, which can also be written as root 2 over 1 plus root 2. Good. Then let's continue from this side. So it is root 2 over 1 plus root 2. Then this one, you rationalize it as we did previous time. If you rationalize it, you have the numerator is going to stay the same, but the denominator, you rationalize it, it becomes 1 minus root 2 over 1 minus root 2. Then, this is no different from root 2 being multiplied to 1 minus root 2 over 1 plus root 2 being multiplied to 1 minus root 2, which is equals to root 2 multiplied to 1 is equals to root 2. Root 2 multiplied to minus root 2 is equals to minus root 2 times root 2. And the denominator becomes 1 multiplied to 1. 1 multiplied to 1, you have 1. 1 multiplied to minus root 2, you have minus root 2. 1 multiplied to root 2, you have plus root 2. Root 2 multiplied to minus root 2, you have minus root 2 multiplied to root 2. This one cancels this one. But remember, we said in our previous lesson, we said that root a multiplied to root a is equals to a. We shouldn't forget that one. So here we have root 2, and we have root 2 being multiplied to root 2. Therefore, it becomes 2. Then we have this one. 1 minus root 2 being multiplied to root 2, we have minus 2. Then it becomes root 2 minus 2 over minus 1, which is also no different from 2 minus root 2. Yeah, and that is the answer. This is it. It started from this point, and it ended up here. Okay, take your time to go through it, contemplate on it, cogitate on it, and then copy everything till we come back. And in the next question, it says express in set form and rationalize the denominator. And the question is giving us 2 over 1 minus cos 30 degrees. Remember, as I told you, if you have a question like this, where do you have the time to draw, the triangle and to derive everything? No, no, no. It doesn't work that way. You have to work very fast, especially under exam condition. In that case, you know, if you memorized it, you know that cos 30 is the same as sine 60. If we come to trigonometry, I will show you that cos A plus B is equals to cos A cos B minus sine A sine B. But anyway, that's not the point at this time. We don't need it. But let's concentrate on this one. Cos 30 degrees is exactly the same as sine 60. So, you know that. But cos 30 degrees is exactly equals to sine 60, which was equals to root 3 over 2. If you know that, then this one becomes 2 over 1 minus cos 30 is root 3 over 2. Then it becomes 2 over, then you cross multiply, so it becomes 2 minus root 3, then over 2, which is also no different from 2 over 2 minus root 3 multiplied to 2. Then it becomes 2 times 2 is equals to 4 over 2 minus root 3. Then with this expression, you rationalize the denominator. If you rationalize the denominator, as you see negative here, it will become positive. So it becomes 2 plus root 3 over 2 plus root 3, which is also not different from 4 multiply 2. 4 multiply 2. 2 plus root 3 over 2 minus 3. 2 minus root 3. 2 minus root 3 multiply 2. 2 plus root 3. The numerator 4 times 2 is equals to 8 plus 4 times root 3 is equals to 4 root 3. Or you can leave it just like that without expanding it. Then you come to this point. 2 times 2 is equals to 4. Good. Then 2 times root 3 is equals to plus 2 root 3. Then you have here 2 times minus root 3. Then you have minus 2 root 3. Then you have minus root 3 times root 3 is equals to minus 3. Because root A times root A is equals to A. Therefore, root 3 times root 3 is equals to 3. But because here is minus, that's why the minus has affected this one. So this one cancels out. So you have 8 plus 4 root 3 over 4 minus 3, where 4 minus 3 is equals to 1. Therefore, this is equals to 8 plus 4 root 3. Or you can leave it in the previous form as 4 plus 2 root 3. That should be the answer. Good. Take your time to copy it as we prepare ourselves for the next question. The next question, it is the same as expressed in third form, and rationalize the denominator. And the question is giving us 1 plus tan 60 degrees over 1 minus tan 60 degrees. But remember, tan 60 degrees is equals to root 3, in which case we have 1 plus tan 60 is equals to root 3. So it becomes 1 plus root 3. 1 plus root 3. Let me make a note over there so that, in your revision, it can bail you up. But tan 60 degrees is equals to root 3, in which case we have 1 plus root 3 over 1 minus root 3. This is in a third form. Then you rationalize the denominator. In that vein, here being negative, it is going to be positive as we rationalize it. So it becomes 1 plus root 3 over 1 plus root 3. Then you can see that it becomes 1 plus root 3, which is this one, being multiplied to 1 plus root 3, all over 1 minus root 3 it didn't pop out good. 1 minus root 3, which is this one multiplied to 1 plus root 3. Then we continue on this side. You can see that is equals to 1 multiplied to 1, we have 1. 1 multiplied to 3, we have plus root 3. Then we come here, root 3 multiplied to 1, we have plus root 3. Then we have root 3 multiplied to root 3, then we have 3. So, and the denominator becomes 1 multiplied to 1, we have 1. 1 multiplied to root 3, then we have plus root 3. Minus root 3 multiplied to 1, then we have minus root 3. Then minus root 3 being multiplied to root 3, then we have minus 3. Because root A times root A is equals to A. In that case, root 3 times root 3 is equals to 3. But the negative here has affected this 3. So it has become minus 3. This one cancels out these two. So we are left up with 1 plus 3 is equals to 4 plus root 3 plus root 3 is equals to 2 root 3 all over 1 minus 3. 1 minus 3, which is not different from 4 plus 2 root 3 over minus 2. The negative sign can affect this one, so it becomes um, it becomes minus 4 plus 2 root 3 over 2. If you factorize the 2 outside, then it becomes minus 2 from here, 2 plus root 3 all over 2. Let's make it beautiful. We don't want to do a clumsy work. This one cancels this one. Then we are left up with minus 2 plus root 3. This should be the final answer. Take your time to copy it, and then we continue. This is beautiful work, man. Let's try the next question, which says that 1 plus sine 45 degrees over 1 minus sine 45 degrees. Good. But the question says express in surd form and rationalize the denominator. Okay. As we are trying to solve it, we should remember that sine 45 degrees sometimes we call it sine pi by 4 is equals to 1 over root 2. In that vein, this expression above there becomes 1 plus 1 over root 2 plus 1 minus 1 over root 2, which is no different from if you cross multiply, it becomes 1 multiplied to root 2 plus 1 all over root 2, then a big denominator, which is 1 being multiplied to root 2 minus 1 over root 2. This one will cancel this one. Then we are left up with root 2 plus 1 over root 2 minus 1 which is not different from not different from 1 plus root 2 over minus 1 plus root 2. Good. This one, you rationalize the denominator. You see plus here. So, in rationalization, this one becomes negative. So it becomes minus 1, which is this one, plus it becomes negative root 2 over minus 1 minus root 2, which is no different from 1 plus root 2 times minus 1 minus root 2, which is this one and this one, all over minus 1 plus root 2 minus 1 minus root 2. Then it becomes 1 multiplied to minus 1 is minus 1. 1 multiplied to minus root 2 is minus root 2. Minus 1 multiplied to root 2 is equals to minus root 2. Minus 2 multiplied to, plus 2 multiplied to, plus root 2 multiplied to minus root 2 is equals to minus 2. All over, let's double check it. 1 plus minus 1, 1 multiplied to minus 1 is equals to minus 1. 1 multiplied to negative root 2 is equals to negative root 2. Positive root 2 multiplied to negative 1 is equals to negative root 2. Positive root 2 multiplied to negative root 2 is equals to 2. Then the denominator, 1 multiplied to minus 1 is equals to plus 1. Minus 1 multiplied to minus 1 is equals to plus 1. Minus 1 multiplied to minus root 2 is equals to positive root 2. Positive root 2 multiplied to minus 1 is equals to negative root 2. Positive root 2 multiplied to negative root 2 is equals to negative 2. So, it becomes minus 1 minus 2 is equals to minus 3. Minus root 2 minus root 2 is equals to minus 2 root 2. All over. This one cancel this one. Then you have 1 minus 2, which is no different from, you bring negative outside, 3 plus 2 root 2 divided by negative 1. This negative crosses away, so the final answer becomes 3 plus 2 root 2. That's the final answer. Take your time to copy it as we continue. Take your time. Let's consider this past exam question, OCR. Simplify root 98 minus root 50. Express 6 root 5 over 2 plus root 5 in the form of a plus b root 5, where a and b are integers. Solution. The first one, which is root 98 minus root 50. We are requested to simplify it, to make it simpler. Remember, 98 is equals to 2 times 49. 2, or I'll do it like this, 49 times 2 is equals to 98 minus root 50 is equals to 25 times 2. This one is no different from root 49 being multiplied to root 2. And this one is also no different from root 25 being multiplied to root 2. The square root of 49 is equals to 7 multiplied to 2 minus the square root of 25 is 5 multiplied to 2. So we have 7 root 2 minus 5 root 2 is equals to 2 root 2. That's the answer. Then let's go to the second one. This is a typical A-level question. You see how easy it is. Then let's go to question 2, which is 6 over 5, 6 over root 5 over 2 plus root 5. You rationalize the denominator. In that case, this one becomes 2, instead of plus, it becomes minus root 5. All over 2 minus root 5. This one is no different from 6 root 5, which is this one, being multiplied to 2 minus root 5, which is this one, the numerator. Then the common denominator, then the denominator becomes 2 plus root 5, which is this one, multiplied to 2 minus root 5, which is this one. Then you have 6 root 5 times 2, you have 12 root 5. 6 root 5 times minus root 5, then you have minus 6 root 5 times root 5 all over 2 multiplied to 2, we have 4. 2 multiplied to negative root 5, we have minus 2 root 5. Plus root 5 multiplied to 2, then we have plus 2 root 5. Then root 5 plus root 5 multiplied to minus root 5, we have minus root 5 times root 5, which is equals to 12 root 5 which is this one, minus 6 root 5 multiplied to root 5 is equals to 5. Then this one will cancel this one. Then we are left up with 4 minus root 5 multiplied to root 5 is equals to 5. So we have 12 root 5 minus 30 all over 4 minus 1 is equals to minus 1. If we continue, we can say that this negative sign affects this one, because 12 root 5 minus 30 all over 1 is equals to, is the same. So this one becomes minus 12 root 5 plus 30, which is equals to 30 minus 12 root 5. Or if you want to go further, you can leave it that way. Or if you want to go further, you can see that 3 goes, there's a common factor, which is, I think 6 and 3. So we can factorize 6 outside. So it becomes 6 being factorized out, 5 minus 2 root 5. Or you can leave it that way. 30 minus 12 root 5, whichever way. That should be the final answer. So if you compare this one, 30 minus 12 root 5 being identical to A plus B root 5, it indicates that A is equals to 30, whilst B is equals to minus 12. That should be the final answer. Take your time to copy as we continue. This is beautiful work. And in the A-levels, I mean, these are the type of questions that you encounter in your A-level. So it is nothing so strange when it comes to the analysis on Surds and the rationalization.